Gamer's Garage.
Bonus
episode.
Can't stop the train, baby. Whoa!
Hey everybody, this is Paradise from the Losers Bracket. Hope that you enjoyed our 25th episode this past week. Thanks once again for helping us reach this milestone. As a special surprise for it being our 25th anniversary, we have an interview that was recorded earlier this week with Counter-Strike Source player Paradox. You'll hear about his professional gaming background, his time with the CGS, and how he now currently works for SteelSeries. It's a really good listen. I hope you enjoy it.
We are joined by a very special guest today. It is Michael Paradox Stanowski. He is currently working at SteelSeries, but he is one of those people who I believe we can honestly call a professional gamer. He comes from the area of CGS, whose gaming career goes all the way back to Counter-Strike 1.5, but really hit the top of his game in Counter-Strike Source. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Oh, it's excellent to have you come on board. Well, the first thing I want everybody to know is when we met Mike, he was a fantastic help to us being able to shoot our SteelSeries promotional videos with Kim Ram and everybody. So I personally want to thank you, Mike, for being an outstanding asset to the shoot. Thank you.
No problem. It's my job to run support here, so I do everything to help.
Well, you're an awesome person. Thank you. And I want to talk a little bit about your gaming career because I think a lot of console players don't know a lot about CGS and even how Source got selected and what the process was. So I'm going to turn the clock back and let's go way, way back. And why don't you start out with some of the bigger named organizations you've played for and what happened when you finally got picked up by CGS to play for San Francisco Optics?
Sure. So the first big name team, I guess you could say I played for was Verge Gaming, run by Matt Marcoux, who was also, interestingly enough, he was an employee at SteelSeries up until about a month ago. So I have a long history dating back with Matt, and that team's really close to my heart now. You guys today think, and you know, maybe some of the console guys may not know as much about the Counter-Strike scene, but the Counter-Strike guys definitely are going to be more familiar with that name now. When I came on that team, Verge Gaming really wasn't anything. You know, not a lot of people knew about us. We weren't necessarily a professional organization. We weren't one of the top teams at that point. And one of the things that is really special to me about that team is that we really paved our way into fame and paved our kind of road to the top. You know, we weren't there to begin with. So that team definitely has a close place in my heart. And then afterwards, playing for that team for a few years, I played for Team Forbidden, which was a pretty big name in Source as well. And then went to Team Pandemic, which was also a multi-gaming team, one of the bigger organizations I played for outside of CGS. They had you guys may know about the Rock Band and some other teams that they had also on console. So I played Source for them, had pretty good success, and we won one of the last major CPL events in summer 2007. A year later, it was CGS, so Cat Hunter and San Francisco Optics picked me up for season 2 of CGS. So that in itself was probably the greatest experience I had in gaming, one of the most unique, and I think it at this point it's really only rivaled by MLG. The format's a little bit different, but that was definitely something that was unique in getting to a professional level as we know professional sports today, like basketball, baseball, and football, contracts, media, and all that.
Let's go back even before that. Before really coming onto the scene in that big way, I'm sure that through 1.5 and sort of coming through the ranks, you learned a lot of stuff. And let's say there are players out there who are starting and very passionate about titles, whether this is on the PC or the console. Their first few experiences are difficult. It's hard to keep a team together. How would you advise them as far as developing their own game? And what, looking back now, you think were really some key moments, decisions, or experiences that got you on the path that resulted in what I consider to be an enormous amount of success for any gamer in North America?
Sure. Well, that's definitely a big topic as far as building goes and kind of climbing your way. I think Counter-Strike specifically, and starting back in 1.5, it was a bit of a unique community as far as it being already kind of built and people having their groups. So it was a community that was really hard to break into. And how I started out, I created my own team, and first I saw an article about the CPL, decided that, hey, this is really cool, and this is something that I really want to do, and I want to game, and I want to take it to the next level and be the best I could be at it. And from there, it was a really long road, and I'll tell you that. So the first thing I did is I played with my friends, and I created a team called Ire, which went all the way from 1.5 even to the first season of Source. I played with those guys. So I had a few breaks in between playing for a couple higher level teams. I'll get to that, but that was kind of my starting point. I created my own team. I led that team, and I think that was a big experience for me. Being able to lead and being responsible for all 5 guys gave me a lot of insight that I used later on in my career. So that's kind of my starting ground. Now, from there, you kind of have to evaluate, and for you guys starting your own teams and building, I think the number one thing that you could do is get aligned with your goals. So if you have a group of individuals that are going to come together to create a team, you guys really have to evaluate what your goals are. There are going to be players that want to play casually. There are going to be players that want to play semi-competitively. They want to compete, but maybe not necessarily take it to the top level. Maybe they do, but they don't have the time to commit. So there's a lot of evaluating, and I'd say goal setting. I think that's one of the first things that you want to do. Gaming being a casual environment, in general, gaming would be classified as a casual environment. A lot of people don't really do that. You create a team and you say, hey, we're going to run with it. Great. And we'll see what we could do. We'll do our best to get better. There's not really a lot of sitting down, talking to your teammates, to your colleagues about what you really want to accomplish, and if you're that person that wants to really take their game to the next level and you want to be the best, you want to know where you're at. You want to know where your teammates are at. If you're playing a team game, you're only as good as your team's going to be, So moving on, I said that I started out with Ire, and that was kind of my own team that I built through. I had a lot of good friends on that team, and it came to a point, even before Source, where I had to say and evaluate, and I had to say, hey, I'm going to have to cut ties.
You just mentioned about what sounds to me like that period where you decide my goals are different from my friends. I love these guys. I've played with these players, but I want to go places and I don't feel their heart is as passionately driven to these goals as mine is, and I've got to make that split. And I think a lot of gamers experience this because you're absolutely right. You are in a casual environment. It's not like when you're in the workplace and you've got people and mentors who may guide you to set goals and accomplish these goals. It's very much by random luck that you personally discovered that, I really want to accomplish this. And then I think even tougher to break up from your friends and sort of go out into the sea and say, I think I need to find people. Tell me about that experience.
That was probably one of the more difficult experiences in gaming. I had a lot of good friends, and there was a little bit of bad blood that came with that, I'll be honest with you. And I really just had to do what I had to do, and I stayed focused and tried to work my way up through the scene, and I was able to do that by joining other teams, and it wasn't perfect even from there. I went from team to team at that point, trying to work my way up through the leagues, and there's really a bit of bad blood and sort of everywhere I went, and it's, it kind of comes with the business. It's sad that it does, but at some point you have to say, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Kind of on a happier note, I said that I spoke previously about Verge Gaming, kind of how we built our way up, to the top. And I think that's a really unique story too there. And that shows you that you can go from having a group of friends. And I think, the same thing that I was just talking about that could be your downfall, I think that could be your biggest strength as well. Having a group of guys that maybe you don't put an all-star team together, and they're in the early days of Source, there were teams that tried to do that tried to pick and choose players based on how they're playing and kind of put them together and make the best team possible. Now, what we did with Verge is that we got 5 guys together that we're all friends, one of my friends, and then a couple of our other guys. We all got together, and we were all a tight-knit group. Now, at that point, we weren't, I would say, anywhere near the top. We weren't even a top 10, top 15 team in Source, but we went from that point after CPL summer 2005, and we were all driven. We all had those goals in line. Everyone wanted to work for it. Put in 5 nights a week, 4 hours a day, and really focus and practice and get better. And on top of that, we all had our camaraderie. We had a sense of loyalty as well. And I think that really drove us to the top. And the next big event we went to in UAG in October, we took down one of those teams I was talking about, Powers Gaming, who really took the best players from summer CPL 2005, put them all together, and created the number 1 team in the world who, was supposedly unbeatable. And we were sort of, we were a known team, but we weren't projected to even be in the top 10 out of a 16-team tournament, and we came in there, and right away I felt like we were going to win that tournament immediately. That sense of loyalty, camaraderie, that really takes something special to build. So, and I don't want to shy you away from playing with your friends and playing, for all you guys trying to really make it in the competitive community and competitive gaming. That's not something to shy away from, but you definitely do want to evaluate and kind of make sure everyone's goals are aligned. So
when I look at your career and I look at where you were right before you went to Optics, you were with Pandemic, Chris Lemley's organization. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's kind of, to me, like being at the right place at the right time, because at that day you guys were all really well known, and unfortunately Team Pandemic is not with us anymore. Chris Lemley is, at least for now, closed the organization. Tell me about the experience at Pandemic and when the CGS came up and the draft and that experience.
So Team Pandemic, first of all, was a great experience. I'd like to thank Chris Lemley for everything he did for us. He definitely helped put us in the spotlight, put us in the right place. But, that being said, going from an organization like that to CGS is really extraordinary. Now, we did try with Team Forbidden the season before that for CGS as well. We ended up not doing so well at the Combine and didn't make it. But, with Team Pandemic and CGS Season 2, we went in there hoping to get drafted as a team. Now, this was another crossroads that was really difficult with that sort of, once you introduce that level of money and that level of publicity to anything, it's going to really change the game on many levels. And that's really what it did. In Season 2, they were drafting players individually. To be honest with you, I think if we went in as a team, we would have been a top 3 team in the entire league, if not better. So I was disappointed we didn't, that was going to be a big long shot at that point, and we knew it. But I think going into that tournament, we still played as a team, and that really showed our loyalty to each other and our camaraderie, that one guy didn't try to show himself off, to get drafted. We just tried to play the tournament, do the best we can, and that kind of continues that storyline. If you get a group of guys like that together, you're going to shine together. So we went into the draft. I myself didn't have too much of hope. I did get to play with the Optics a little bit, and that was it. So I thought that was one of the teams that was going to be least likely to change your roster. But Cat Hunter did give me a shot, and Yasin Amari Clown, who's a member of that team, also helped me out to just get a few games in with them. And I just tried to do my best and bring to the table what I bring, just passion and drive and motivation. And going into the draft, I really had no idea what was going to happen. And I saw a few of my teammates get drafted, and I was really happy for them. These guys that we've been all collectively working towards this goal. And, I think Mustang got drafted, and I'm talking about my teammates now, Mustang and Juan and Noit and Griff. So 3 of those guys got drafted before me. And going into the last round, the Optics still had a Counter-Strike pick left. And there's so many people in that room that could have been picked in addition to me, including one of their former players who was 2 of their former players, rather, at that point, who I was almost certain their Cat was going to pick one of them. And to hear my name called for that, it was like, I can't even put into words how it feels to get to that point, to work so hard for so many years for something, and to get the opportunity to finally play on that stage. And I kind of say it that way. This is in no means saying I didn't have great opportunities before then, but CGS was completely on another level. And when I got called up there, it just culminated for me. It all kind of came together, and that was really, I think, a special point for us. The sad part was one of our guys didn't get drafted. I think he completely deserved it. So that was kind of a happy moment, also a little bit sad for one of our guys, but because we just work collectively for something like that, and you want to all be rewarded for it. But for me, it was, I'd say, one of the more special moments of my life put together. I'll never forget that. And the league in itself was one of the best experiences of my life, one of the best learning experiences too, and I think it helped me grow and mature as a person in many ways. So,
and I want to talk about some of that, because we spend a lot of time in our writing and in our other shows talking about the things gamers need to do in order to become professional. Because what we try to preach to them is it's a lot more than just playing well. There's a lot that goes into sponsoring, into learning what organizations like VV Gaming do, and what I know Pandemic has always done, and you see it in EG and with Jason Lake and Complexity. It's always about trying to attach the marketing value of the competition, of the players, to many potential sponsors and their products, and really wanting players to understand how, in my humble opinion, that is right lock and step with how good you are as a player, that being good is not good enough. What would you say about that as far as what you've learned throughout your career?
I completely agree with you. I mean, there have been plenty of players that I've seen in Source that could easily, on a skill level, with their skill sets, could take the place of another player. But in a team, and also from a marketing standpoint, it would absolutely be a different ballgame, and they didn't bring as much to the table as some others, and I think that's especially right now, and for you and VVV, I know that's definitely a big point that you emphasize. From a marketing standpoint, I completely get that. I'm a competitor. I see the business side of it, but as a competitor, I just try to do the best I can at what I'm doing, and whatever that may include. Some people limit that to, and this is a mistake, by the way, limiting that to gaming and being good at the game that you play and being good, having a good skill set there. If you're limiting yourself to that and you don't work on your people skills, and you don't go in front of the mirror and say, hey, here's what I'm going to say if I get drafted, this is going to be my demeanor, or I've a video shoot, what am I going to say, how am I going to present myself? If you don't look at the whole picture, you're selling yourself short, to be frank and just simple like that. That's really what you're doing. So I think a true competitor is going to improve himself in every way possible, whatever that means to the team, whatever that means to the organization. And you'll find this in many sports, in every sport really. you'll be the best that you can be, not only at the game, but also on the marketing side of things, also on the team building side of things, and even on the management side of things, So I definitely think you bring up a valid point. I think that's a big part of the game, and it's something that you may even want to look into working on if you really want to be professional. When you get to that point, you want to be prepared to be professional. You don't want to go in there and say, hey, I'm a good player, but maybe I haven't had experience. You really want to prepare yourself, and if you want to get to some point, you want to see yourself at that point, and you want to be prepared when you get there. It's the end-all, be-all of it.
The next part of the story, I think, is a difficult one because, one day arrives and CGS is no longer there, and I know for many players that was a very painful time, and it was, I think, a surprise to many people. If you don't mind sharing, what was that experience like for you?
I think I'll surprise you by saying I didn't really mind too much when it ended. I mean, it was the most special thing in my life up until that point.
I think that's what makes you a very awesome person. I think if anybody here has the pleasure of meeting you in person, that part of your personality, that humble, optimistic, appreciative side, I can just see that. So, knowing you personally, maybe that doesn't surprise me so much, but tell me about how you got the news and what happened.
Yeah, and I appreciate the kind words, by the way. And I mean, so the news was broken kind of unofficially at first, and I didn't know what to believe. From kind of thinking in a linear manner, thinking mathematically and on a business side of things, I didn't really see the league continuing the way they were operating. And, that's no knock on their management and what they're trying to do. I think what they did and what they accomplished and what they're looking to accomplish was beyond anything I could have dreamed for gaming. But I do think there were some fundamental flaws with their business model, and that it's kind of harsh, but I did sort of see it coming.
Mike, I'm just going to tell you, anyone who's listened to this show knows I am horribly critical. And I do this because I want people to learn. I mean, I know sometimes when people hear me, sometimes they think, he's got this hatred for, it's not hate. It's, we need to kind of like unroll all this and pick it apart and, get as much information and learn from it. And I know a lot of people, many people carry a sort of wound, and they're very like, it's like you're picking at a scab, and it's like, what, just show us what happened. There's all this speculation and people, but I do agree with you. So please speak freely. I mean, I think your insight, this is history now and it needs to be analyzed,
Definitely. So, I mean, I think number one, with any looking into the model that they had and everything, you think about sports and you think about where the money comes from, for these multi-million-dollar contracts for LeBron to get $16 million, $17 million for nearly $60 million salary cap in the NBA. Think about where that money is going to come from, and most of that money is going to come from sponsors and your fan base. Your fan base is selling the season ticket, selling that hot dog at the stand in the stadium, and all of those fans piling in, putting money into the franchise. It's a collective effort. The CGS didn't have that. They didn't have the fan base that was going to come out and support the casting of the show or whatever it was. I think the way it was presented maybe contributed to it a little bit. It was coined as professional gaming and all that, but it was kind of spun for public image, which is good. But at the same time, I really just don't think gaming is ready for that level. Me being a gamer, that may be hard to say, but I think there's a level there that should maybe stay there and maybe progress over time. And it went from point A to point Z. I think that was a misstep. It was a fortunate misstep for me, but the whole gaming in this competitive gaming scene wasn't really ready for that. You may have some of the bigger sponsors, Mountain Dew, and some of the sponsors they had, but you didn't have that fan base. You didn't have the 30,000 people that come into the arena every night to watch a game. And I think that was number one. And with the level of money that they're putting into that, if you don't have that fan base, if you don't have those people investing in your league, in your teams, in what you're trying to sell, you're not going to be successful. And I kind of saw that from the get-go, and that did contribute in a way to me not being as surprised when I heard the news about the league closing down. Now, as far as, going back a little bit, and you asked me how I found out, it was kind of unofficial at first, and then it was posted on the website that CGS is going to shut down operations. Of course, everyone around me, all my friends that I made from that league and my teammates, everyone was just shocked almost, I'd say, and they're really sad about it. And I was kind of sad too, in the beginning I said, hey, a great thing's come to an end, I'm not going to be happy about it. At the same time though, I tried to put it into perspective and looking at it logically, it wasn't going to be eternal. And I think I was also getting to a point in my life where I sort of just wanted to move on as well. I loved gaming, and I continued playing after that. Played for another, maybe year and a half with friends, and off and on. Not as nearly as competitively as before, but I think I was just ready to move on as well. If the league didn't go on, would I try for it? Yeah, of course. I'd continue with it and do my best at it. But when it got to that level, and after I experienced that, with Optics, we got to the World Finals. We had a great story going there. We weren't expected at all. We got in as a wild card team and went through and getting to second place, getting to the World Final match. I think just having that experience and all the things that I went through in that league, I felt like next season I wouldn't have gotten nearly as much out of it on a personal standpoint. Not financially, of course. The money is always great, but that did contribute also to me not being as sad about it, and I felt like I got so much out of it at that point that if I went back, it'd be great, but not nearly the experience that I had initially the first season.
Well, we're getting near the end of our time, but I want to ask you one final question before we wrap up. Tell us about how you got to work for a great company like SteelSeries.
I got really lucky. I mean, Matt Marcoux, who was my manager for Verge Gaming, he was also a good friend of mine, was working for SteelSeries. I mentioned to Matt before, hey, I'm looking for work. If you need any help with anything, give me a buzz. And that's what happened. Matt said, hey, come in. We may need your help at SteelSeries. And I just came in, and I really loved what I saw. At this point, I'd been out of the gaming scene for a little bit, coming back and seeing all the, the first impression, and I'm sure you got this too, with all the products on the walls, and I just said, wow, I didn't follow this for a while. How did it get this big? These guys are really passionate about what they do. And meeting with everybody, I right away got that vibe that everybody here really cares about what they do. Everybody at SteelSeries really loves what they do. They love coming in, and they love creating the best products out there, for you guys. We really put a lot of effort and a lot of love into what we do. Right away, I knew this was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be here. I wanted to work for this company because I felt like, number one, I could definitely help them out, being a gamer, pro gamer myself previously. And number two, it was something that, being out of gaming for a while, I didn't have a big passion of mine that I could commit to, and this was right in line with what I wanted to do, and also something I could get excited about and try to be my best at, and something I could apply myself to. It's been a great ride. I mean, I'm glad I'm here, and I do feel like I'm able to help the company a lot with my skill set and come to work every day, and I really only have positive things to tell you about SteelSeries. So,
my experience with everyone there, Leela, Kim, yourself, has been positive. So I have to agree with you. And I'm hoping that we can do this again soon, because I think a lot of people could learn a lot from your experiences, and I really appreciate you sharing.
Definitely. I mean, I love to share and help the gaming community, help you as a gamer and everybody as a gamer grow. Because I think it's a great thing to be in. I think there are a lot of opportunities out there for you in gaming as a player, and then even after that, I think it's a good thing to get into, and if this is your dream, you definitely go after it. If you really want it, go after it. And if you really want to be a pro gamer, that's something that I think you should do, and I think you have opportunities in.
On that note, Michael Paradox Danowski, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to our special bonus interview. The full cast will be back this Thursday for episode 26. We have a lot of really cool subjects that we're going to be tackling, so make sure you come back and check us out. Thanks to Crash and the gang from the Gamers Garage for hosting our show. And of course, thanks to the VVV sponsors SteelSeries, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com, and Custom Ink. Huge shout out to all our fans from the VVV community. Be sure to stop over at thegamersgarage.com where you can find all the ways to follow us, including Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. Make sure to check out the other shows as well. If you want to hear us talk about something in particular, if you have a comment for us, questions, anything of the sort, please give us a call. 206-350-7352. Leave us a message. We'll play it on the show, or we'll talk about whatever it is you want to hear about. Just let us know. You can also email us, mailbag@thegamersgarage.com. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you on Thursday.